to start the webinar. And as you may have seen it, this meeting, for your information, is going to be recorded. So welcome to today's webinar on Archipel.eu's call for project, the Fund for the Safeguarding and the Promotion of Intangible Cultural Heritage of the Overseas Countries and Territories and the Outermost Regions of the European Union. This webinar organized by OCTA is part of a series of webinars on Archipel.eu and its 3 calls for proposals. As you may know, my name is Hélène Morales. I'm the culture officer of the Association for the Overseas Countries and Territories of the European Union. And I'm also coordinating Archipel.eu at the OCTA level. You may excuse my English. I just talked during 1 hour in French on the same topic, so I may twist a little bit sometimes in between English and French. So excuse me for this. Before we start on the webinar, I would like to quickly introduce my colleagues. I think there's someone who put the mic on. Oops. Would it be possible to cut the mic on? Otherwise, there's a reflection. So I was saying before starting introducing the fund, I would like to quickly introduce my colleagues, Pablo Lopez Herrerias, who is the coordinator of the OCTA Secretariat, as well as my colleague Madina Renaud from l'Institut Français, who is coordinating Archipel.eu, and also thanks my colleague Andrei, and I think we also have today Elena from APCA, and thank them for their participation in this webinar. So maybe Pablo, Madina, if you want to say a few words of introduction before I start presenting the webinar.
Well, thank you, Hélène. I don't want to take time to any of you, and since Elena and Madina are mastering this better than me, just to welcome you all and hope you will find this session interesting and you will be able to apply to any of the projects, and especially the one on this call that is being introduced tonight. So good luck and thank you for being here with us. Thank you. Hélène.
Madina, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you, Hélène. Just a few words on behalf of Institut Français, who's leading the Archipel.eu program with the consortium members, especially OCTA and also APCA. So I would just like to thank you for the invitation and for organizing this webinar. Yes, we can start, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you to you both. So very quickly, oops. I will go through today's agenda. Our first item will be on introducing the Fund for the Safeguarding and the Promotion of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of the OCTs and the ORs. Our second item will be a short demonstration online on how to apply on the Institut Français website and how to submit a project. And the third item will be the occasion to share with you a few tools that can help you as potential beneficiaries to guide you in your application process. The second part of this webinar would be an occasion for you to ask your questions, to exchange a little bit on your project. So I can highly recommend to already start writing down your questions on the chat box on the Zoom today, so that we'll be able to see them and to answer them after this presentation. So thank you in advance, and let's start now with a short introduction to Archipel and its fund. So as many of you know, Archipel.eu is a cultural project that aims to test over a 24-month period a direct financial support scheme for cultural professionals, artists, groups of artists, cultural organizations, and institutions from the 13 OCTs and the 9 ORs. Archipel.eu is a project co-financed by the European Union and coordinated by l'Institut Français together with APCA, which is the Agency for the Promotion of the Atlantic Culture, and the OCTA. On the occasion of the Archipel.eu launch event on 13 October last, 3 calls for proposal were open for application. There is a call Archipel.eu Mobility Fund, which aims to promote exchanges between the OCTs, ZORs, and among the European Union as a whole. To candidate to this fund, you have until the 1st of December 2022. The second call is the collection Archipel.eu Special Edition, which aims to showcase artistic works from the OCTs and the ORs to show, to emphasize on the visibility of those works. And this call will be open for application until the 13th of January 2022. And finally, there is a fund for the safeguarding and the promotion of the intangible heritage, of the intangible cultural heritage of the OCTs and the ORs, which we're going to focus on today. And this fund is open for application until the 13th of February 2022. So before I start introducing more in detail the objectives and the condition to apply to this fund, I would like to give the floor to Madina, who is going to give you a brief overview of the reasons why this fund was created in the framework of Archipel.eu. Madina, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Hélène. Yes, I think this is very important that I explain to you and I share with you all why we've decided all together to dedicate a fund on this specific topic, intangible cultural heritage of the OCTs and the ORs. And the reason why is that there is a cultural richness that is very important and very diverse from one OR to one OCT, but we've seen that there is a need for safeguarding. So this is why this is important to understand that the notion of safeguarding is at the center of this fund, and the project that you will present to us needs to have this aspect of safeguarding in it. So this has a very precise meaning defined in the Article 2.3 of the 2003 UNESCO Convention, as it refers to the measures aimed at ensuring the viability of the intangible cultural heritage. This is including the identification, the documentation, also the research and preservation, as well as protection, promotion, enhancement, transmission, especially through formal and non-formal education, as well as the revitalization of the various aspects of such heritage. So the heritage needs to be safeguarded as defined by the convention, consists of practices, representation, also expression, knowledge, and skills that have to be transmitted from generation to generation, and providing communities and groups a sense of identity, but also a sense of continuity. So that's a lot of information, but all of these important notions should be included in the applications. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madina. So as mentioned by Madina, this fund was created in accordance with the 2003 UNESCO Convention with the objective to work to safeguard and promote the intangible cultural heritage of the OCTs and the ORs. This fund supports physical and/or virtual activities that highlight the intangible cultural heritage of the overseas, notably through innovative projects that question, analyze, and highlight the cultural richness of those territories. And the Fund for the Safeguarding and the Promotion of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of the OCTs and the ORs tends to support several scientific and cultural mediation projects, such as the organization of conferences, seminars, training activities, cultural mapping projects, research and analysis documents, exhibitions or small-scale events in presential or in virtual, but also online platforms, awareness raising activities, and dissemination actions. This is just, a non-exhaustive list. So of course, there might be other projects that may be concerned as long as they fit the objective of the fund. Before applying to this fund, it's very important to ensure that your project is in line with the specificities and the conditions of this fund. As for the specificities, the overall budget dedicated to this fund is 270,000 euros. The fund will support a minimum of 15 proposals with a maximum of 20,000 euros per project. Here, it's very important to mention that the fund will financially support your project up to 90% of the overall budget of your project. This means that for the at least the 10% remaining budget of your project, the structure bearing this project has to finance this 10 remaining percent. As for the beneficiaries of this fund, only cultural organizations or institutions which are active for more than 1 year and which are residing in the OCTs or the ORs are eligible to this fund. At least the project that you submit in the framework of this fund have to take place from April 2022 to March 2023. As for the conditions, before applying, you also have to make sure that your project allows the advancements of research and knowledge in the field of intangible cultural heritage of the OCTs and the ORs, that it participates, that it allows, the participation of intangible cultural heritage communities or practitioners in the project, and that your project has a dimension of training, transmission, or exchange of best practices. You may also note that particular attention will be paid to projects that promote the use of digital technologies. So those conditions, specificities, and objectives are very important because, as you will see, I will now show you how to apply on the site and how to find the information. And you will see that it's very important before applying to ensure that your project is in line with all the objectives, conditions, and specificities that have just been discussed. In addition to this webinar, of course, you can find such information on the specificities of the fund on the Archipel.eu website, but also on the website of the Institut Français on the Archipel.eu page. So if you allow me, I'm now going to share with you another screen. Okay, to show you a bit more how works the Archipel.eu website. So here you go. So first step, as I said, to apply to the fund is to find the information on the fund and make sure that your project is in line with what is required from this fund. So this information, you can find it on the Archipel.eu website. The information on this site is available in English, in French, in Spanish, and in Portuguese. Here, on the right side of your screen, you can easily change of language. Then if you scroll a little bit your screen, you can find here the 3 different calls for proposal and the fund that interests us today, which is the Fund for the Safeguarding and the Promotion of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. If you click on See More, you will find detailed information on this call, such as just presented before. So you will find, once again, the objectives of the call, detailed on who is this call for, on the disciplines that are concerned by the call, on the specificities of the call, on the project concern, on the cost that can be covered by this call. This is very important. For instance, when you will submit your budget, you have really to refer to this part. What are the requirements of this call and the eligibility and evaluation criteria? Once you have ensured that you can apply, that your project aligns to this call, you can apply to it. Whether you can click here on how to submit an application, or you can also go back to the Archipel.eu website, and here you will click on apply to this call. Once you're here, so once again, you click on apply now, and here you will be requested to log in, meaning that you need an account to be able to submit your application. So whether you already have an account on the Institut Français webpage, maybe because you already applied to call for proposals with the Institut Français. So in this case, you can just put your username and your password. But if you don't have an account yet, you have to create one. So here you type create an account. So you will see that usually Institut Français website is in French, but you can easily switch in English. Huh? So here, if you switch, you can, well, sorry, this was not, Okay, you should have, nope, still not. I think there's a menu here that makes things complicated. Well, anyway, I think there's a menu here making things complicated. But anyway, you can create your account here, that je crée mon compte. And here, is it going to work? No, well, I'm sorry about that. Usually you should be able to create your account in English. But in any case, in English, you will be asked to enter your personal information, your name, your family name, your first name, your email address, and a password associated to your new account. Then, and here it's very important, you will be asked to enter your country of residence. For those of you who have already tried to create an account to apply to a call of proposal for Archipel.eu, you may have noticed that none of the OCTs or the ORs are listed in this list. So it's very important for you to select your country of nationality. By instance, for the OCTs, you should select France, Denmark, or the Netherlands. As for the ORs, you may select France, Spain, or Portugal. So once you have entered all this, you can create your account and start applying for the fund. I will now show you the form that you need to fill in and the documents that you need that you need to submit to apply. So here we go. So once you have created an account and make sure that your project aligns with the conditions of the fund, you can now submit a project. So how to submit a project? You will first have to fill in a form structure around 4 different parts. So the first one would be on the project bearer, meaning the persons who is actually applying on behalf of the organization or the structure that will bear the project. So here you will have to enter information on the applicant, so your name, family name, email. Then you will have to provide information on the structure that you are representing with the address. And here it's very important to put your address because it will allow the evaluation committee to see if your structure is located in one of the OCTs or outermost regions. And here, after giving some brief description of your structure, you will also be asked if you are, as the project bearer, the legal representative of the structure. Then the second part of the form would be on the project description. On this part, you will have to enter information on the project itself, like a short description, the expected results and aims, but also the schedule of your project. Here, as I said before, it's very important to remember that in the framework of this fund, the projects have to be implemented in between April 2022 and March 2023. So make sure to remember that when you fill in the schedule. Then you will be asked if you have partners associated to your project. So if you have to list them here. And finally, you will be asked to enter the budget of your project and ensure that all the expenses, expected expenses, sorry, align with the different budget lines. So this is for the form. Finally, to submit a project, you will have to attach 3 additional documents to your submission. So the first document is an attestation, which is a form that proves that your structure has a legal existence. Then you will have to submit your financial statements, the financial statement of the structure for 2019 and 2020. And then you will have to submit the activity report of your structure for 2020. I was saying before that on the Archipel.eu website, all the information regarding Archipel and its calls are in English, in French, in Spanish, and in Portuguese. As for the application form, only projects which are submitted in English and in French will actually be taken into consideration. We don't accept projects that are submitted in other languages than English and French. This is very important to remember. So I'm done now when it comes to showing you around and get you around the submission process. That was very important for us to show you, to guide you through this process, because since the launch of the calls for proposals, we indeed received many questions on this process, this online process. So I really hope that this was useful. I will now finish my intervention on the fund by presenting you very quickly before the question and responses session, by presenting you a few tools. Oh well, it doesn't work. That are at your disposal, and that will, that you will have, that are accessible for you during your application process. So the first tool that is at your disposal is a Q&A. that is accessible in English, in French, in Spanish, and in Portuguese on the Archipel.eu website. I also shared this Q&A with you when I send you the Zoom link to attend this meeting. You will also have available the retransmission of our webinars on the Archipel.eu website, but also on the OCTA website. You can also ask if you wish for us to organize specific webinars or meetings to discuss your projects and the questions you would have. And of course, you have at your disposal a series of key contacts, such as the associated partners of the project. You may find this list of partners on the Archipel.eu website. They are, located in different places around the world. By instance, for the OCTs, we are in partnering with le Centre Culturel de Chibawi in New Caledonia, but you have also other associated partners for the ORs. You may see the list once again on the Archipel.eu website. You also have here the contact of Madina, who is with us today, with the project manager of Archipel.eu. You have also the contact of Elena Moniz Sousa, who is the communication officer at APCA. And of course, I'm here in OCTA to answer all your questions. So as said sooner, I'm overall working to support the potential beneficiaries from the OCTs. But of course, I'm here to answer your question. May you be from the OCTs or the OR. So don't worry, you can contact me anytime. So this said, I'm now going to give you the floor for your potential questions. And for that, if you agree, I will stop sharing my screen so that I can see your questions in the chat. And of course, you can also take the floor. Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Hélène. I see that we have a lot of questions already in the chat.
Oh, yes, I see this.
Would you like me to take the first one and then maybe you can
Yes, go ahead so that I can go through them.
Yeah, you can have a few minutes. So the first one is from Paulina. I don't know where is Paulina from, but it will be good to know. She's saying that in the FAQ on the website, it's saying that the organization or individual can apply. Is this fund only intended for organization and institution, or can individuals also apply? Actually, it's organization who can apply for this specific fund. If you are an individual, it's better to connect with an organization that can support and apply with you. And we encourage you to do it this way. Is it okay for you, Hélène, if you can?
Yes, I'll take the next question. So it's still it's still from Paulina. Have you already published a November webinar online? So it's not published on the Archipel.eu webinar. However, it's published on the OCTA webinar. And I will be able and happy to send it back to you following this webinar, together with the PowerPoint of the presentation that I just made.
So I guess it's also the same with the question from another Morales, saying that how can we get the slides of the presentation? So yes, as Hélène said, we can share the documentation, especially the slides, and then also the webinar. If you want to see it again, it will be recorded, as you know. So we will post it on the Archipel.eu website.
Thank you. So now a message from Francisco Enriquez. Can mandatory documents be submitted in another language? Yes, it's something that I forgot to say. When you submit documents, so the form has to be in English, has to be filled in English or in French. However, the documents that you submit, that you attach to your application, can be in a different language than English and French.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I see there's another question from Lida. Can we submit the project activity plan for our project at Project Activity 2020?
Do I have to explain?
Yeah, please go ahead. We have the chance to be here and exchange freely, so it's better. Yes, you have question, just please.
Yes, thank you. Because every time we make a project, a big project, we make a project plan with all the details in it, the activities, the budgets, and everything goes in the project plan. And I wanted to submit that one too, because it would give me a little more, and you more information about what we want to do, instead of only putting in your form that is very short, that has so many characters.
Mhm.
You cannot always explain better what you want to do. That's why we always make a project plan. So I was asking if I can submit it there, because we don't have an activity plan for 2020 as COVID, everything was down.
Yes, I understand.
Mhm.
Well, the first thing is that because the experts needs to have the same type of documents to evaluate the application, this is important actually that you fill in the form, and it's a short paragraph, but it has to be very precise, and it's very important that you put everything there. And of course, we do consider the fact that COVID has changed everything, especially in the cultural fields. So, well, the idea for us is mainly to focus on this paragraph where we can describe what you've done and what was not possible to do and what you had in mind and what we would like to do in the future.
Okay, I think I did though, because I'm like ready to send everything. That's
Okay.
I'm really ready. And I wanted, especially about the budget, it was a little complicated because yeah, the terms, how you describe the how you call that? I have it in front of me. The description of the terms in the budget is like a little confusing. That's why I wanted in the project plan, there's much more better understanding of what the budget posts are. I don't know if you can comprehend me.
Well,
Let me
if you have more specific, yes, if you have more specific question, I will be happy to help. And Hélène is here as well to help you, because she's in charge of really helping the potential candidates. By the way, where are you from? Because it's important that also
Curaçao.
Good.
It's nice to put a face because
Yeah.
I think we meld each other, but
Yeah.
that's a nice thing about this webinar, is that we're able to put a face on
Oh,
everyone's
that's me.
with whom we're exchanging.
Yes.
So don't hesitate to put your camera on.
Okay, I'm here. Okay, I understand the small things that we have to. I think I did it, but especially about the budget, I was like in a limbo. That's why. But maybe I can just mail you about that.
Exactly. Yeah. I think you can exchange with Hélène,
Yes.
and she can CC me, and we will do the best to clarify if there is something to clarify. Sure.
Okay.
And
Thank
please
you.
don't hesitate.
Thanks.
Well, so many questions.
Yes, I see that. So maybe, so if I may, I will take the next question from El Morales. Are we talking about orange economy type of project as well? Well, that's an interesting question. I guess it depends how the project is promoted and described. In some way, your project can create an ecosystem in a sense that it's going to bring together communities, create work opportunities. So in this sense, yes. You may also when it comes to orange economy, which is the creative economy, the promotion of the production, the creative cultural productions, you may also have a project that has this perspective together with a perspective taking into account the intangible cultural heritage. So to me, it seems like, yes, to answer your question, yes, a range economy type of project could be considered if they take into consideration the intangible cultural heritage dimension and this possibility to create an ecosystem.
Yes, exactly, Hélène. And it links us to the other question from Lucie Saban. There is another question between the two, but which most relevant criteria to select projects for Archipel.eu call of proposal? All the criteria are important, but if we think about this specific fund, this is linked with what Hélène just said, is how the project is connected with the communities, why it's coming from the communities, what you can do for the communities, and what will be the impacts of your project. So this is very, very important.
And once again, I guess it's all in the way you promote it is very important, so that it reflects as much as possible what is asked from the fund. So I hope we answered your question. I see another question from Enelda. Would it be possible to receive the template of the application form? This will be used to inform and instruct the various organizations on the island. Well, on the PowerPoint, I'm going to share with you, there will be some kind of a list of the different, like a summary of what has to be filled in on the form, meaning what are the different parts that you have to fill in on the form. There will be also the list of the documents that you have to submit. However, we don't have a proper template of the application form. I don't know, Madina, is that something that could be taken out from the website?
Actually, not really. This is the reason why we've decided to do this step-by-step help to explain what it should be done and so on. But the idea of this tutorial is to really help you lively, I will say, on a lively way.
Oh, I understand. I think the PowerPoint would be very helpful because we would, well, we as government, we don't always put in projects, but we do it via organizations. So we would then have information sessions with the various organizations that might be interested in this fund. So that's why I was asking for the template, so we can then in that session inform them. But if we have the PowerPoint, then we already have all the steps or what is needed to apply for the fund. So that will be great. I will await that.
Yes, I'm at the end. By tomorrow, I will send to you all the PowerPoint presentation of this webinar, so you will be able to disseminate it as much as you wish. And we will have also, as Madina said, the retransmission of this webinar in a video format, so that can also, I hope, be useful to see the different steps.
Yes,
yes,
and
thank you very much.
There's something else that might be useful for you. If it's the case, let me know. There is a tool that we use for the associate partners that are there, or ambassadors, I would say, in different regions. There is a folder where we have all the information, all the calls for proposal, different PowerPoints explaining what are the specificities of the calls and so on. So if you're interested to have to have the access to this folder, just let us know.
Oh yes.
Okay.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Where were we? We have quite a lot of questions. It's good.
Good, and a diversity of profile is good to go from Greenland and to go to Aruba. So that's nice. So the question is from Greenland, actually, from Paulina.
Yes.
May I answer the question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So, Paulina from the Nordic Institute of Greenland would like to know if an organization applies on behalf of an individual. Do the mandatory documents have to concern the organization or the individual? For example, if the individual in question is a professional artist, do they have to provide the mandatory information on themselves, or is it enough for just the organization statements? Yes, actually, we don't need at all any information about the individual if it's an application within this fund, because we need all the information about the organization applying, and then when we have a description of the project, there will be the name of the people involved, and of course the experts will do the work to find out more information about the people involved in the project. So I don't know if it's clear for you, Paulina, or if you want to add something.
Yes, it's very clear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I don't see any more questions. So maybe if you have more questions that you would like to raise, don't hesitate. We still have 15 minutes left on our time, so don't hesitate. And of course, if there are not other questions, you can always contact us for any questions you would have. And as said before, we will also share with you by tomorrow the PowerPoint of this webinar together with the link of the video. So you will have several tools at your disposal to get you on this application process. I don't see more questions.
Yeah, maybe some people are still not sure if their project is eligible. Please do not hesitate to ask.
Actually, just saw another question from Lida. I saw that already that an organization could submit 2 applications from different projects. Yes.
Okay.
Are we going to hear from you several times, Lida?
Oh, for the association, I'm helping, and for another museum, we are talking already about another project. So probably they're gonna apply themselves, but I'm gonna be helping them with the application.
So you will be involved in both ways.
Or 3 projects. Yeah.
Good.
As association, we help all the museums with everything we can. So yeah. Because I'm in the chair of the Museum Association of Curacao. That's why.
Thank you.
So we have to help each other.
It's true.
I'm preparing all the questions already. So
that's good. Well, I don't see any additional questions.
Hello? Yes, I have put a question, but I didn't see the answer on it, or I didn't hear the answer. Do you have organizations which are especially specialized in helping other organizations to submit for EU projects, submit requests?
Sorry, I don't understand the question. Hélène, did
okay. Do you have organizations, or do you know about organizations, other organizations which are specialized in helping other organizations, NGOs, civic society organizations, etc., to submit
Yes.
projects, because if you have those and they have a lot of experience, then it is easier for the organizations to submit.
Yes, I know one. It's OCTA, and I know Hélène Morales. She can really help you.
Oh,
No,
okay.
seriously, you can really contact Hélène, and she will.
Okay.
That's why we're here. I mean, on
Okay.
my side, as said, I'm coordinating Archipel at the level of the OCTs, and it's very important for the potential beneficiaries of the OCT to count on me throughout their application process for any help, any support they may need.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I see in the chat that you can also have another help from Europe Direct Anti-Guyane, but maybe she can say a few words as well at the local level and the regional level. Maybe you would like to say a few words? I don't know who's behind Europe Direct, if it's...
Sorry, it's Frederick once again. And,
welcome back.
I was yes, I was answering to Yanina saying, because I see the question was, do you need to partner with other OCTS? We are not OCTS, we are RUP. I don't know, Outermost, yes. And usually, yes, on local place, we help people to apply. And if you have a partnership with some of our place, Guadeloupe, Martinique, or French Guiana, for the application form, yes, we help people to do that.
Thank you so much.
But I think you were also answering the question, do you need to partner with other cities?
Yes, that was the question.
Nina, yeah. It's not an obligation though. You can partner with other cities, ORs, and even with structures that are in the European Union as a whole, but it's not an obligation. The most important part is that you as an organization, as long as you submit a project, you're going to be the project bearer of this project. So this is the important part. But yes, I mean, every organization can partner with other organizations.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And is there another questions?
Yeah, I have a question with the procedure, but I think it is on the website, right? How long it will take for you to judge the application and the next steps, etc., etc. It is on the website, I think, right?
Questions regarding the evaluation process?
Not the evaluation process. The process from the application until getting the funds. How long will that take, etc., etc.? Is that on the website?
I don't know, Madina, if you want to.
Sure. If we speak about this specific fund on the intangible cultural heritage, the deadline is on February on the 13th of February next year, and from that we will have the experts who will meet, and for 2 weeks they will select the candidate, they will grade, and then they will have a commission. Actually, the commission should be around the 8th of March. That means then after that there will be a few days to validate the results, and it should be around mid-March that you will have the results. I don't know if it's answering the question. And
Yes.
from that, of course, there will be a time of exchanging with each beneficiary to know the specific agenda, I will say, and how they will organize also the time frame. And then we will do a case-by-case implementation.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just to answer Lucy's question, yes, of course, the PowerPoint of this webinar will be shared with all of you by tomorrow.
Okay.
And
great.
you will be able to disseminate it as much as you wish.
Okay.
So there's no problem at all. You can count on us. Well, I don't see any more questions, and it's almost time to end this webinar. So don't hesitate if you have any additional questions. Otherwise, as said, you will receive the PowerPoint of this presentation tomorrow, as well as the video retransmission. And as mentioned before, also you have like a wide set of tools at your disposal for any questions you would have, any doubts, any challenges that you would meet in the framework of your application process. So don't hesitate to share it. And I see all your little comments in the chat, so thank you. It's good to know that these webinars are useful for you. So please don't hesitate for any questions. On the OCTA side, I remain at your entire disposal. You have my email address. I will maybe put it again in the chat so that everybody has it. Yep, it's a bit long of voila. And maybe if you don't have any more questions, I would like to thank you all for your participation, to thank Madina for her precious participation, comments, and to thank also Andrei, Pablo from the OCTA side for their precious help. And I don't know if our friends from APCA are here, but if they're here, I also want to thank them for participating. And if you don't have any more questions, well, I will leave you here. And thank you once again. And don't hesitate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day, a nice evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Ciao.